I'd just like to start off by saying thank you for the invitation, but more importantly, thank you for putting together this event centered around this phenomenal cause. I really enjoy being invited to speak at such events, especially because it forced me to stop and reflect on what's happened in the past little while. I'm always amazed at how far we've come along, how different things are, and sometimes even how similar they are. And so I figured, what better way to start this off than by going back to the very beginning? When I had the idea for I.N.D, Initiative for Neuroscience and Dementia, I was quite nervous about it, so I kept it to myself primarily, which means I came up with the name by myself. And I'll be the first to admit, it's a bit of a mouthful. It doesn't flow all that well. Initiative for Neuroscience and Dementia, that's a lot of syllables, I thought. But I want to share with you my mentality when I first started out, and I don't think anything conveys this better. The name was initially Foundation for Dementia. But then I thought to myself, wait, no. What happens in 3 to 4 years when we cure dementia? What does the organization do after? And that's the term neuroscience got added to the name. I said, okay, we'll cure dementia, and then we'll move on to Parkinson's, Huntington's, and we'll do all that great stuff. Yes, I was naively optimistic when I started, but despite all the challenges we faced, I still haven't been scared off that optimism. And let me tell you why. In the span of 5 years, and 5 years seems like nothing, but it's like a quarter of my life. At the same time, just like that. In the span of 5 years, we've raised $20,000 for dementia research. We've expanded across Ontario. Earl Hague Secondary School, Mark Garner Collegiate, Victoria Park Collegiate, UTS, and that's just to name a few. We're in BC, Alberta, we're working up in Quebec. We've worked with patients suffering from Parkinson's, dementia, and various other forms of problems. And that's just 5 years, and that seems like nothing for us. And we're still going. Right now, we're working on a campaign called Commit to the Cure. And essentially, it's this pledge system. Anyone, any age, can simply go on our website and pledge. And what that means is essentially that you're promising that when you can, whether now, 10 years down the road, but when you can, you will give to the cause. And it doesn't have to be in the form of money. It could be in the form of knowledge, time, simply volunteering, but just a promise to remind yourself that this is something you need to think about, and something that you could be a part of. With regards to the future, for the past couple of years, the organization and I have been working to sort of create the self-sustainable, growing community where essentially we raise funds and redistribute those funds. Funds from our branches go back to research, go back to our branches to host larger-scale events, and new programs such as scholarships to promote work done by youth to sort of get people involved and join the movement. But one thing in particular I really want to talk about and take this opportunity to speak about is some of my experiences. And yes, that includes some of my struggles. You know, running this organization as a kid, it's been an interesting experience. And this is rather common knowledge, but it came into perspective rather recently for me. When we were young, you know, elementary school, middle school, high school, and even university, we have a lot of time and energy, but not quite as much motivation. As we grow older, we get the motivation, but we tend to lose some of the time and energy. And that's why the power of youth is so amazing. And that's what some of this conference is about. Yes, to get you thinking about dementia, but also to give you that motivation. Adults have experienced a lot in life. They've failed, they've succeeded, and that experience gives them the wisdom to recognize what it is that they can truly accomplish in the 24 hours given to everybody. And which is why the power of youth is, again, so amazing. Teach that to a kid and amazing things can happen. I only realized this recently after years of working, but I eventually did realize it. I've struggled so much with getting sponsors, members, new schools, and failed a countless number of times. No company would simply hand out money to some kid with some club in some small school. But never did I want to quit. No doubt working with other students is challenging because I myself am learning. No one has the right answer, and certainly not me, and certainly no other member in this group. But we're all learning together, and that's what makes it really interesting. And never, because we got it wrong, did we ever want to drop the youth component of this organization. There's something beautiful about what's going on here with the cross-generational work we're doing. The young helping the elderly, everything fitting into a cycle. You know, just last week, we had a student reach out to us asking if she could create a branch. It didn't take me a second to say yes. I didn't ask her what her qualifications were, why she wanted to do it, what skill set she had. I simply wanted to know if she was interested in doing it. That's all I needed to know. And so I encourage each of you here today, to your friends to whom you may speak about this, join us. Join the movement. Simply do it. You know, I promise that you will discover that you have so much time and so much potential. Time is often hard to come by, but once you get into it, you realize managing school, your extracurriculars, your hobbies, it all fits in nicely. And so whether it's joining by creating a branch, joining by using any of the talents you may have, writing, drawing, there's always a place for you in this organization or someplace else, whether you want to create your own path or join many of the amazing people here you've met today. Never be afraid of the inexperience, because from what I've learned, there's no flawless plan. We all have to learn together. We all have to fail together. But one thing I recognize is that as we fail together and we learn together, we grow exponentially, bit by bit. And that's the amazing part of it. And last but not least, I'd just like to say, you know, there's so many of us out here, if you look around the room, and I just hope that you recognize that you all are capable of so much, and that it's the barriers that we think exist don't often exist. There's a learning curve, but it's quite easy to overcome. We simply need to ask for the help and take the opportunities available. And thank you.